Hey guys, Yuji here, and today I'm testing out a new build I've been trying. The point is to give a ton more AoE pressure because through testing I've noticed the Divine Storm isn't that much smaller than Templars currently. It's hitting on the high end over 500k with the second Sunrise procs, while Templars is hitting for about 600k on the high end. So in situations where you're hitting 2 or more targets, you're doing significantly more damage just by pressing Divine Storm. So what we're doing in this build is we're trying to just maximize our Divine Storm damage while not losing out on our single target damage. So first, we're getting Tempest of the Lightbringer, which whenever we use Divine Storm, it sends out an echo that does 20% of Divine Storm's damage. Next, we're getting Holy Flame, which buffs Divine Storm by 10%, and also if we're playing Expurgation, it also spreads Expurgation whenever you use Divine Storm, and also buffs all of our damage by 3% while we have Expurgation on the target. Next, we're getting Burning Crusade, which buffs it by another 5% damage, and also buffs Wake of Ashes by 5%, and all of our dots by 5%, which is very helpful. And now we have one last talent point to mess around with. I think the best one's going to be Expurgation, because it works really well in combination with Holy Flame, but you could drop Expurgation and get Final Wreck or Empyrean Power. So Empyrean Power makes it so that we get Divine Storm procs off of our Crusader Strikes, and since Crusader Strikes is one of our hardest hitting abilities right now, we end up proccing it quite a bit. The only problem is in situations where we're only hitting one target, using the proc isn't as worth it all of the time, but on the other hand, it also synergizes really well with Divine Purpose, since the procs can also proc your Divine Purpose, which just ends up getting you a lot more extra damage. In situations where you're just able to sit there and spam Divine Storm on like 2 targets, this talent is amazing, but in situations where you're going to be having a lot more single target situations, it's not going to be as good. Then the other one is Final Reckoning. You know, everyone knows what it does, buffs Templars damage by 15%. On our goes, but I'm not sure if that's super worth it right now because Templars isn't the biggest part of our damage right now. Buttons like Templar Strikes and On-Chi buffed Hammer of Wrath, it's harder than even when it's buffed by Final Wreck. It's not bad, but it's definitely not as good as it was in prior expansion, so I'm kind of thinking it's worth dropping it sometimes. But what are we losing going this build? Well, first off, generally Expurgation or Final Reckoning, which we already talked about, but on top of those, we're also losing Divine Wrath, which extends wings by 3 seconds. I honestly never really thought this talent was very essential, especially since it doesn't work with Radiant Glory or Aura of Reckoning. Its only real use is it increases the chance of you extending Crusade with Aura of Reckoning, but it very rarely works out where you barely miss out on your extension by like 3 seconds. It's just not super likely, it's kind of just fiction. It was really good in the past with Blessing of Dusk, since it would reduce the CD of Wake of Ashes, Divine Toll, and Final Reckoning, so you could kind of get more value of those in a single go. But the change how that works doesn't work off of those abilities, so it's significantly worse in my opinion. But yeah, so for the most part, this is the build that I have been testing and running. It seems really good. But if anyone else has been testing anything like this and they have any other objections or opinions on things that I could change to make it better, I am definitely all ears. I am really interested in trying to make this build work. Now I've got some gameplay of me testing out this build, you know, just skirms because it's all we can really queue right now unless I'm doing war games, which I haven't really bothered trying to do. But saying that, keep in mind it is skirms, so I have no idea how good these people are or how geared any of them are. So in this game we're against a double melee team, and look how much damage both of them are taking. They're both having to press everything in and they're still just both dying. But in this game, I mainly just do single target damage and still have insanely good pressure. I'm not completely missing out on a bunch of bursts just by going this Divine Storm build. You're still doing really good single target damage as well. But now in 3s, you're completely able to switch between single target and cleave just by switching between Templars and Divine Storm. Depending on how many targets are near you, you can do one or the other. It adds a bit more depth to our rotation rather than just spamming Templars as much as possible. It's kind of cool. But that's it for me. I'm going to leave you with a bit more gameplay, and peace.
Appear before me silent. Talk to me, talk to me, talk to me now. To come a time where I can hear you, I hear you, I hear you call out. Now I know where and how. Every now and then I know. With you I vow. Look where I need to be. With open heart. Look, justice bless my soul. You said a Lord. Oh, take a look at me. Oh, keep my spirit free. He is a lot for me. With open heart, look, justice bless my soul. You're subtle, Lord. Oh, take a look at me. Oh, keep my spirit free.